What's up? It's your boy Cintron coming back at you with another news video. This time on the Eagles, man. Big Eagles fan. Been that way since high school, 2001, high school, junior year. Started watching, couldn't stop. All right, but we're going to get into a myriad of topics here. Let's start with the Saints game. Yes, we are favored. Yes, we're playing at home. And I get it. Any given Sunday, anything can happen. But statistically, and you look at matchups, if you compare our team to the Saints team, we dominate in all categories. If not all, then most. But I'm looking across the board. I don't see anywhere O-line, D-line, linebackers, secondary, receiving core, special teams maybe, but anywhere that we're losing to the Saints. So the guys coming off this loss, a lot of them said, they were angry, upset. Yeah. And they're 13-2. That means they've only dropped 2 games this year and won 13. I trust them to focus in on the next game. They're focused on going 1-0 every week. And yeah, they've fallen short 2 times this year. One of them without Jalen, but that's twice with 15 at-bats. I'll take that any day of the fucking week, any stretch of any year during this time of the year. So people panicking, oh, the sky is falling and the Eagles are just coming off a loss, and what about Jalen starting? Like, just focus. Like Aaron said, RELAX. Breathe. Take a deep breath. Breathe out. And realize, man, we're at home. We're playing a team at 6-9. They came off of beating a rookie quarterback last week, Desmond Riddler from the Falcons. Chill. I mean, what weapons do they have? I can only think of 3. Taysom Hill, who's just a gadget player. Chris Olave. Yeah, he has speed, but we can neutralize him if we play him the right way with a certain player. And Alvin Kamara. And we've been shutting down the run 5 consecutive weeks. Shut down King Henry, Derrick Henry. Shut down Zeke and Pollard this past week. We shut down Green Bay's running backs for the most part. Shut down Giants running back. We've been tested in that area, and for the most part, we've held up. And it's been low averages. And we haven't allowed them to get on the roll, to control the clock, because that was the game plan. Houston, put that out there, and then Washington was like, okay, well, I see your notes. Let's go ahead and copy that and execute it. And they did, and they won. Also had 4 turnovers, but they controlled the clock. It made us feel pressure as well. Put all the pressure on our offense to score, because our defense wasn't stopping them with the personnel that we had. But that's 3 weapons. I trust us to be able to focus in, shut them down, and make them one-dimensional. And once we do that, we'll earn the right to rush the passer and then just collapse Andy Dalton. He's serviceable, and he has his spots here and there, but play the odds. We still have number 1 passing defense in the league still after this past week with Dak, but at least top 5. I don't know, probably top 3. We probably didn't drop that precipitously. But I like our chances. And yeah, nothing is guaranteed, but you got to play the odds. That's all you have. All you can do is go with the information and decipher it and pour over it and look at weaknesses and strengths and evaluate. And this is what it comes out to. The Eagles rank better than the Saints. What else you want me to say? I can't guarantee anything. But the data is all we have to look at. And the human element, can't worry about that until the day of. Continue on that topic. Playing people. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is eligible to come off injury reserve this week. But should they? If he's not healed, let's not play with his injury. He lacerated his kidney. Serious. And we don't know, I don't know if they can see with scans what, to what degree it looks like the kidney will be healed or not, but it's just not taking any chances. Reed Blankenship has been a more than adequate replacement, and if we need to, maybe try out some Zach McPherson in the slot there. Tried a couple different options. Huge loss for us, Devontae Maddox. But that being said, I'm gonna get onto that in the next topic. But if he's not healthy, 95%, don't play him. We need him long term because you can see the Dallas matchup sorely missing. And it has some options to actually be flexible with him where we want to play him because of Reed Blankenship, his emergence could play him in that slot when Devontae went out and get back to playing man a majority of the time and not disrupt Jonathan Gannon's original plan. But still, he should have made adjustments. That's besides the point at this point. But yeah, that slot position. It might be time for us to bring Crevon LeBlanc back to Philly. He was most recently with the Raiders here in 2022. They released him. Bring him in, kick the tires, evaluate him. If he comes back with a clean bill of health and looks like he can run, sign that man ASAP. He was phenomenal for us in 2020, especially in that Chicago game and the Saints as well. Picked Breeze off. I mean, just excellent. It was the first play or second play of the game. It was that first series. He launched it deep. Crevon went. He might even one-handed it. It was an impressive pick, though. I remember that. It was left such an impression in my mind. But that man did wonders for Philly. And like I said, if he checks out, improvement. If he can play with any semblance of that 2020 resemblance, he would rival Maddox there in the slot because he was very effective. Graded out really high. I want to say mid-80s at least by PFF. The truth. So I'd love to see us bring him in, but I don't know if they're listening or but that's clear as fucking day. And yeah, his tape, like I said, I didn't look at his tape this year, and I don't know what he did for the Raiders or did not do, but it could also be the system. We know him. It could be. It is a different system here than what he played in 2020. But man, you gotta believe that just put him in there, plug and play, and man, just watch the results. This guy, he's talented. Yeah, he's still relatively young. He's 28. So yeah, I'd love for us to bring him in, and then when CJ is healthy, we can put him up at safety, leave him there for him to just be a playmaker. Was the first half of the year, 6 picks, still tied for the league lead in picks, and he's been out 4 weeks, 5 weeks, will be this week. But yeah, and then Reed backing him up, and we put Reed at his backup position, but have the reassurance. You can also maybe bring him in packages as well, a dime or something like that. I mean, the flexibility it would afford us, it'd be a luxury at this point. But also moving on to people who are out. Lane Johnson. We all know how pivotal he's been. He set the record for the most snaps, 900 plus, 920 something plus, without giving up a sack, and that goes back to 2020, which is impressive, especially in the modern day NFL, with pass rushers being so dominant and having such a highlighted role in getting out to the quarterback. But he brings us such stability there on the right side of the line, and you can just leave it there and not even watch it. Put it on the stove and don't even worry about it. It's going to automatically time. But that being said, dealing with a groin injury, like I said, it's his core. So he's got to be able to push people around. It's iffy, man. And in 4 weeks, him being able to, that tissue being able to repair itself, or to some degree, it's going to be, a test of wills and pain tolerance. And I think it's just going to get worse. It's going to be, it's going to at least stay the same, or like it just progressively get a bit worse until it's like a full tear. So, I mean, like, I hate for that to happen. I don't think it can be relied on him to heal up in a short amount of time. If he had 6 weeks, 8 weeks, I would feel confident in saying he could come back. But I'm thinking Driscoll's just gonna have to carry that load out there, and there's lots of things we can do. And like, I saw some reports. I was bringing in former tight ends like Cowboys ex-tight end Blake Jarwin, looking to go heavy in tight end sets. Yeah, man, we're gonna have to chip and maybe some delayed routes to alleviate that pressure on the right side to help Jack. Give him some assistance out there on that edge. I have some running backs also, coming out in their routes, chip the DN over there, or pick up blitzers, and it's discomforting, but it reminds me of 2017. We had like Gardner in, Minshew in last week, our starting quarterback out, and then it was a left tackle that was out, Jason Peters. He tore his ACL, and Lane was in there, stabilizing factor, but next man up. Because, people are like, oh, you just don't replace a man like Lane. But what choice do we have? No use crying over spilt milk. Go out there and get the job done. Scheme it up. That's the coach's job, to fill that gap, to make sure that man is not isolated out there fully. Because there's sometimes, of course, he's going to have to block. You have to be competent and hold up. But there's things we can do to assist him in doing his job and helping him be successful, not leaving him out there on the island by himself. But I don't agree with shifting the line so that moving not Kelsey, moving our Jordan Mailata, our left tackle, to the right side, and then putting in our Andre Dillard, our first round pick, at left tackle. I don't want to create a whole another position, and then two holes, because we don't know how Andre's gonna hold up there at left tackle. He could be adequate, but then if Jordan ends up being just adequate, we've created problems at two different positions. So let's just worry about one. Yeah, that's manageable. Four Pro Bowl caliber players, and then one adequate, solid person. I'll take it. And back to another injury, but Jalen Hurts. I think for me, there's no question, Gardner showed enough in the start this past weekend to give me confidence that he can go out there and get the job done against the Saints. Those picks, and this wasn't even on the slate, but even last week, those are on Quez, man. He's not running sharp enough routes. He's not being disciplined enough. He's not showing attention to detail, rounding off his routes, not playing through the whistle. There's no way Darren Bland should have beat him to the spot and wrestled the ball from. Yeah, I get he might be stronger than him, but he played with anticipation, and he had the extra oomph. Just pluck the ball away from you. You don't let that happen. And then why are we going to him in clutch situations? I was like, go to AJ. And I was like, after we, especially after that first pick, I'm like, oh, come on. Why are we trusting him so much in these positions? You got to earn that. And then 3 picks over the last 2 weeks? That's beyond unacceptable. I get it, you're not a starting wide receiver anymore in the league. You were last year. But we're calling your number. We're trusting you in your position, and you're betraying us with that. And it's like, it's not to come down hard on you. It's about being accountable. I've got to believe they're gonna look at that film together, gonna ream him out, and he's gonna respond one of two ways. He's gonna rise up to the level of our expectations, or he's gonna shrink away from the challenge. Simple. But Jalen Hurts, we should sit him. I just think we should sit him. I believe in the guys that are there to get the job done. And it's not because we're playing the lowly Saints, but just 13 times we've won this year and 2 we've lost. And division opponents are always tricky, so I'm like, Washington, okay, but we haven't lost to an inferior opponent. We played down, of course, some talent to their talent level, but we've got it done. So I want to trust and believe those guys get it done. And I think just the more time, if you do play them, I think the Giants game, play them like a quarter, a half, or whatever, on a snap count, and have to knock off any rust come the playoff game, the divisional playoff game, and that's it. But moving on to Jonathan Gannon, man. I'm not even worried about him coaching against the Saints. Him coaching against lesser talent, like I said. It's in the big games, man, where I feel like, this guy just can't be trusted. He played a mix of cover 1, 2, 3, and 4 last week. And it's like, what the fuck are you doing, man? 3rd and 30, that, like ridiculous coverage call, and that actually happened to when Raheem Moore gave up but against the Ravens. It was cover 2 where they were playing. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Why the fuck would you call that? That's just dumb to put your players in that position. And especially inexperienced players that aren't, used to playing together, aren't, communicating well or inexperienced. But yeah, man, that's it for this video. I know I covered a wide variety of topics, but just wanted to talk about the Eagles in general. First video in a long time. But thank you. Shout out to Tom Grossi. That channel, man, just came through and rated my channel and gave me so much support. I appreciate you guys, man. Thank you so much. I'm getting out of here. Fly, Eagles, fly. Let's go.
Like, comment, share, subscribe if you want.
Thanks for watching. Check me out at Cintron, Cintron Anime, Cintron Life, or Cintron Laughs, or other social media.